Welcome to Boss Up Goddess. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I interview trailblazing women who share their wisdom to help all of us live bigger, better, and bolder. With me today is a fascinating woman, Colby McManamon. She is creator of Soaring Heart Medicine. She's an energy healer, a numerologist, a minister of walking prayer, and so much more. Welcome, Colby.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I've been to some of your numerology workshops, and it's just absolutely transformative and fascinating. And you're an energy healer, which is another phenomenal endeavor that helps people everywhere. So, Colby, can you talk about what type of work you do and why you do it?
Sure. I like to go directly to the source of whatever's happening with people. I used to work more as a massage therapist and doing body work, and I felt like I wanted to learn the tools that would bring me directly to the source of the pain or the issue so that we could free it up and make more room for people to expand into their potential. So the energy medicine that I practice is more like an energy psychology where I'm working with people with their limiting beliefs or with layers of energy that's not necessarily their own. It may be energy that they've agreed with, things that they've bought into and then began to wear almost like a cloak, like wearing a cloak of energy around you that ends up defining you, but it's not really truly who you are. So I like to
Oh
free
my
people from these
gosh.
layers of energies so that they can live, freed up.
I love that. That's what Boss Up Goddess is. You know why? Because a lot of women wake up one day and we realize, wait a minute, no, what is going on? This is not right. I'm supposed to be someone else or something else. And so you help pull those layers off. So it's like this journey of self discovery, right?
Very much so. Yeah. I like to get to the core essence of who we are, what we're meant to be doing here,
Mhm.
our truest potential, which is pretty limitless when we get down to it. But we just make all these
Yes.
agreements and all these decisions that we're limited or that we have these barriers between us and our goals. And it's false. It's not even
Oh,
real.
I love this so much. Oh my gosh. So wait, tell me if you work individually with a woman or a man and you decide, how do you help them peel away these layers or even identify? Because a lot of times we're not even conscious that we've been programmed to believe and act a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. I take a really good intuitive look, but a lot of time it's just dropping in with the energy of the heart and opening up the space to listen because when somebody shows up in true presence to listen, people unfold. They get to know themselves in a deeper way where they can kind of come up with their own answers. And if they need a little assistance with that, then I can take an intuitive look and
Uh-huh.
help just follow the energy of where some of these beliefs or limiting energies might be stuck and help loosen that so that they can just let it go. Once we see it, it's pretty easy to let go. It's where we're blindsided, and agreeing to things before having true realization that that's what's going on is where it holds on tight. So once we see those things, we can let go of it a lot easier and smoother.
Oh my gosh. So, how do you do that through meditation, journaling, ceremony? What do you do?
There's so many tools, and you could do it through all of those things. When I sit with a client, sometimes we do some meditation, some guided visualization, and sometimes just going into a deeper theta brainwave helps access the information. And a lot, like I said, is showing up in presence and in heart. It expands when you show up with somebody and you're in an expanded place. It allows them and gives them the permission to expand as well, and then a conversation can happen that's authentic, it's real, and it's from the heart, and it exposes all these gems and all these beautiful things that are within the soul of the person. And then you kind of just dive in from there. It's really different every single time, which I love.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so theta. Can you explain what that is, please?
Theta is a brain wave, so it's where we access consciousness. So like delta is the sleeping, there's the alpha where we're thinking and doing, but theta is really where we access deeper states of consciousness
Hmm.
and other awarenesses. So when we're able to get into a theta brainwave, we can access consciousness that we're walking around with all the time, but just not aware of. So when we're able to become aware of layers of consciousness that are sometimes dictating our realities, our thoughts, our behaviors, and then kind of manipulate them with awareness, then we can restructure ourselves and our whole belief systems and the way that we interact with the world.
Wow, that is fascinating. Fascinating. Oh my gosh. So, one of the ways that you work with people is with numerology by helping them identify the number patterns in their lives based on when they were born and what year it is and such. And as a numerologist, Colby, you have a message to the world about the numbers of our season right now, right?
Absolutely. I love numerology because it's a tool that gives a roadmap of where we are. The numbers represent energies. It's a language. It's one of the universal languages across the globe that everyone can understand in a different way. So I love using numerology in my practice to help kind of see where somebody is right now, where they've been and where they're going. And that's
Uh-huh.
my favorite part of numerology, is really gaining access to, okay, what's going on? Where have we been in 2020? That was crazy.
Right.
That was a 4 year, and a 4 in numerology is all about new foundations.
Mm.
The thing with new foundations is we can't build them up until we deconstruct the old. And if we have foundations that are built, without proper structure, it's just going to fall. And we saw a lot of that in 2020, a lot of things falling apart so that we can rebuild and do it correctly, hopefully.
Mhm.
Hopefully this time.
Yes. Colby, before you go on, can you define for those who might not know what is numerology?
Numerology is like a divination tool using the energies of numbers. So we're using the numbers of the day you were born, or we can use the collective numbers for 2020 and 2021. Using the collective numbers shows information about the collective experience. So it's somewhat like astrology, but I like to say that I feel like it's much more simplified because there's less, planetary bodies and all of these things that we're measuring. We're just looking at numbers, and there's a lot of different numbers to look at in a full chart, which is beautiful. But I like the simplicity of the numbers and their meanings and getting to know them as archetypes.
Okay, so 2020 being a 4 year means 2 plus 2 in the 2020 adds up to 4, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, so then this is a 5 year.
So this is a 5 year, 2021, coming out of those foundations. It's really interesting because in numerology, a lot of times the number that comes next is always going to be opposite of what we just went through. So the 4 year being all about foundations and a lot about boundaries as well. We learned a lot about what's our boundary, our physical space, our boundaries with people, what's healthy, what doesn't feel so good. All of
Mhm.
those, we really had to take a good look at what are our boundaries and what feels good and what am I okay with and what am I not okay with. And moving into this next year to 2021, 5 is in the middle of a 9 year cycle. So it's really a pivot year. It's like we're building these new foundations, but in a 5 year, we have this opportunity to take a really good look at where we are and see what are the necessary changes that need to be made in order to get where we really want to be. Because sometimes
Mm.
we build these foundations thinking that this is what's supposed to happen and this is what's going on, when it's like just extra work. we might have to do more deconstructing in the 5-year to make sure those foundations are really solid.
Mhm.
And we're just going to see a lot of change. 5 is a fast moving year. So this month in January is a little slower. So take advantage of that because it's a 6-month. It's about home, hearth, and family, taking care of yourself and others. But the rest of the year is going to pick up, and it's going to be still a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of shifting and a lot of changing, a lot of work within communication and community. And it is the number of the revolutionary and those that are wanting to do something totally outside of the box. So we're going to have to look for our solutions to these problems and do it completely different than we've ever done it before. So it's going to be a year of innovations for sure.
I like the way the word innovation sounds because, your imagination can go all kinds of directions. So innovations, that's really cool, really cool. So 5-year, and then there's a number for the month as well, right?
So this year, and it's interesting because January, the first month of the year, kind of sets the tone for the year as well. So like last year was a 4-year, which is supposed to be pretty stable. But because January of last year was a 5, which is all about change, it was like the change of all the structures. And that's
Yeah.
what happened. So going into this year, the 6th year is really about, or the 6th number, which is January, is really about taking care of others and being really heart-centered and taking care of yourself, self-care, not neglecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So going into a 5-year, it's like we really need to pay attention to community and what we're doing as a collective, but we have to focus on our own, like what is our own responsibilities? What
Mm-hmm.
are we personally responsible for? Are we really responsible for other people's thoughts, feelings, decisions, actions? Or can we just drop into the understanding that we are responsible for ourselves and what we contribute to these new changes? And so that is
Ooh.
going to bring us through this 5-year of change, is like how to show up in service, but to do that
Mhm.
without being codependent.
Oh, wow. Fascinating. So when you work with an individual with numerology, you assess their birth numbers, is that correct? And you determine what that says
Yeah,
about their life path?
yeah, yeah, we'd look at the birthday, and then their name as well to get more information.
So is it kind of like astrology, like if you were born on a certain day in a certain place, that dictates your astrological signs and that might lay a blueprint for your personality? Is it
Yeah,
similar to that?
yeah, it's very much an energetic blueprint of how you came in to this life. So with your birthday number, it's your life path number. It's the number of what's ahead of you. What's that path that's ahead of you? Where are you going? What do you hear? And what are you meant to do? And what are the tools that you come in with?
Hmm.
Expression number, which comes from your name, really defines how you walk that path. And then, there's so many other numbers that can go into the details, but it's really
So
beautiful to understand the numbers.
I love it. I didn't know you could apply it to a name. So can you do Elizabeth? It has 9 letters.
Yeah, we'd break it down. We'd break it down your whole name, your first, middle, and last.
Oh.
Each letter has a numerical value. So it's a kind of adding them all up and then bringing it down to one number.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. Oh my
Yeah. And then
gosh.
the vowels of the name, I love this part of numerology. The vowels of the name is the heart's desire number. So when you bring all of the vowels, it's like all of the soft parts,
Uh-huh.
of your expression.
Uh-huh.
And that ends up being the expression of your heart, all of those oohs and ahs. It's like what your
Mm.
heart is really wanting. Whereas the consonants are more like your outer shell and your personality number.
Hmm. Wow, Colby, this is fascinating. So we are shifting from we just had the great grand Jupiter trine with Saturn and the December 21st winter solstice and shifting into the age of Aquarius from 3D to 5D, etc. And so it's easier than ever to access our spiritual energy. Can you talk about why that matters to people who are super steeped in 3D?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because we have this opportunity right now like we never have before on this planet. And in some ways, we all chose to be here at the peak of this time to help usher in this energy and usher in this age. And, you know, it's interesting because some people are sitting in 3D and they're just comfortable there. They're uncomfortably comfortable sitting in the old energies. And, sometimes I've been in places where that can almost feel sad to me, but I've realized it's like I no longer am trying to do anything to, shake them, like wake up. Or, what can we do to live by an example to let this energy move through us? Because as it
Mhm.
does, it expands. And as we expand, we're expanding each other in the collective consciousness, which makes more room for them to open up, grow up, open their heart, and experience this shift for themselves.
Mm. So it made me tear up because when you said that we chose, our souls chose to be here during this time. And what an honor to be a teacher, a leader, a way shower, uh, as we've awakened to our own powers and wanting to teach that to others who are seeking and don't really know where to start. So, Colby, that's why I'm so grateful that you're here today to explain the importance of energy. And energy is everything. We have these 3D physical bodies, but there's an energy field inside of us, and that's what empowers us right on our missions.
Absolutely. And I feel like this year, the 5 year, because it's so much about change and authenticity and doing things in its own way, I feel like a lot of people are going to be waking up this year, and a lot of people are going to begin to really understand what it means to be free and to have sovereignty, because this 3D, this place where we've been living for thousands of years is very enmeshed in the old belief systems, the beliefs that we have about ourselves, about each other, about government, society. It's like has created this dense matrix of understanding where it's where we relate from. And even as we're waking up and beginning to have more understandings about ourselves and our world, we still are having to walk through that. So realizing more and more that that energy is no longer applicable to who we are and where we're going. It's not us, and it's no longer relevant. So we're able to just kind of step out of it, as you would imagine yourself kind of like stepping out of a murky pond or something, and like just
Mhm.
letting it slide off and walking into the new,
Uh-huh.
a little bit cleaned up and fresh.
Yes, I love that. So, Colby, if somebody wanted to work with you, where can they find you?
Well, I have a website, soaringheartmedicine.com. I am pretty active on Instagram, Soaring Heart Mystic. And so you can find me at either of those places.
Excellent, excellent. Can you offer maybe 3 tips to the person who's watching and really wants to explore their spiritual energy, but they just don't know where to start? What should they do?
Hmm. I would say go be in nature for one. I'm a huge advocate of earth medicine. I'm a minister of walking prayer, and a minister of earth-based prayer. So what that means is that our connection to the earth and the connection that the indigenous peoples of this planet have been trying to show us and teach us forever is how to connect to the planet helps us connect with ourselves, because we're reflections of this earth, which is so beautiful.
Mhm.
So one of the main things that we can do is just sit in nature or go for a walk or sit by a river and allow the elements to do their work. The
Mhm.
river, can wash away what's no longer serving us. We can ground our energy into the earth, it rebalances our electromagnetic field. There's huge health benefits to just being in nature or putting your feet on the ground. So that is probably number one, earth medicine. The second, I think, would be to just spend time in contemplation or meditation. And there's a lot, people get overwhelmed by that thought if they haven't done much of that practice before, but it doesn't have to be, there's no certain way of doing it. There's no right or wrong. Just sit and tap into the energies of the heart. And it's simple. To do that, all you got to do is put a little hand on your heart and think of something that you're grateful for. And if life is really hard for right now, it could be something really simple, like your cup of tea. Like, I get so much gratitude from my tea. So sometimes I'm like, what am I grateful for? Just the tea, and holding that warm cup in my hand and that first sip in the morning.
Yes.
That's enough to expand the energies of the heart. And when you open up and expand your energies, you go into heart coherence, and that can expand your energies and allow you access to start letting go of what's not working.
I love that.
Yeah, so those are two things. And then really, those are three things, because that's spend time in nature, spend time in contemplation, meditation, or prayer, and practice gratitude, because gratitude is a huge medicine that can restructure your field.
Oh my gosh. Wow, Colby. That's fascinating. So what message is there for the collective with this energy? Like, what should people be, how can people be exploring their own besides these three things? What can they do and what's in it for them? Like, what's the benefit if a person does these things?
Well, you can just take stock of where you are now. And if you're completely content with where you are now, that's awesome. You have been doing a lot of work, and hats off to you 100%. If there's work that you feel like there is still to do, just, I think sometimes the first step is just getting really honest with yourself of what can I improve? What's getting in the way of where I am and where I want to be? And when you become aware of those energies, you can talk to an energy medicine practitioner. You can do belief work. There's so many different tools out there right now that can help you get over those things, because right now the energy on the planet is really ripe for us to be making these big transformation with more ease and grace. Not that it won't be bumpy, because it's been bumpy. Like last year, for example, was pretty horrendous in a lot of ways. But at the end of 2020, I felt like a polished stone. I was so turned, humbled around, and just got so, flipped upside down. But by the end of it, I was feeling pretty sparkly, actually, and grateful for all of those things that were really gnarly and hard to deal with at the time.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I was like so grateful to have gone through that, to push me into, this new experience of expansion.
Wow, that's fascinating. Oh my gosh. So, Colby, does energy healing help someone cure a disease or physically heal the body?
It absolutely can. I think the best way to go into working with an energy medicine practitioner is to have no expectations, because expectations themselves can be limiting to the experience of healing. But people have had amazing results healing, using energy medicine, using heart coherence, just that ability of somebody doing that work themselves. If you're committed to doing it every day, and putting time into doing it every day, it restructures your neural network. It rewrites the understanding and the memory of your cellular structure so that you can get rid of disease sometimes. And it's really incredible. We are amazing, multidimensional, super activated potential, sources of love and light. So we have a lot of potential to work with. Depends how, engaged you are and how committed you are to your healing.
I met a woman once who said she cured her cancer. It went away entirely with energy healing and eating a very, very high vibe natural diet. Can you talk about the importance of food energy? Not just the caloric value, but the energetic, how do you describe it? Vibrational frequency of food and how it can elevate you or pull you down.
Absolutely. If you want to live a high vibe life, you have to have high vibe influences. So you want to be, you want to have good vibe beliefs and thoughts about yourself. You want to be around good people and you want to put good things in your body. If
Mhm.
you're doing all this work and then just putting garbage in your body, it's going to definitely weigh you down. So, um, live fruits and vegetables are always the highest vibe of food you can get. If some people have a difficult time digesting those sorts of things, there's probiotics and a million different things you can do. But eating clean, holistic, healthy, organic as much as possible, and lots of fruits and vegetables is gonna raise your vibration just simply by eating good.
I love that. I love that, Colby. Anything else you'd like to share for people who are super curious and excited to begin a spiritual high energy journey, but they just don't know where to start?
I would really just say, well, I was about to just say thank you for being willing and showing up. For anybody that is willing to show up to their own healing, the world needs you.
Mhm.
We all need you to just open up and shine your light, because each person that can drop into their heart and be more authentically who you are is going to benefit every single person on the planet. So, um,
Yes.
just thank you for showing up, for one, and know that you are supported. There's a lot of support out there. There's a lot of people doing really good work, so that you can lean into your community and people out there, and you will be supported. And if you don't feel supported, reach out to me or reach out to Elizabeth, and there's people that will have your back. So, just know that you're not alone, and there's a lot of resources.
Excellent, Colby. Thank you so much. I will put your contact information in the description box so that people can get in touch with you if they want to learn more or work with you.
Sounds good.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Boss Up Goddess.
Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody have a really good 2021. Embrace the change and have fun with it.
Yes, 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 yes. And thank you so much for joining us here on Boss Up Goddess with Colby McManamon. She is an amazing energy healer, Soaring Heart Medicine, Southern Oregon. Find her on her website, putting the link here below so you can contact her. She's an amazing woman. So grateful that you joined us.
Thank
So, you're welcome. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and here on Boss Up Goddess, I interview trailblazing women like Colby who help us all live bigger, better, and bolder when they share their wisdom. So remember, Boss Up Goddess, you have the power. I'll see you next time.